Hello, it's Linda here from Linda's Life Lessons and Recovery. I am here to help you today to figure out how do we handle things when we have no control. It can be a real challenge, and we all want control, don't we? We all want times where, gosh, the world is, we don't want times, but the reality is things happen in the world and we don't have control over it. And we don't like that. None of us like that. But what do we do about it? It is a real challenge, I think. And so how do we what's the solution when we're powerless? Now, for those of you in recovery, we're all in recovery from something. But if you have been stuck in an addiction, whether it's alcohol or drugs or any other kind of addiction, really, how do we know? Are we really powerless? Because that first step of the 12-step program, if you happen to be someone who is familiar with that, it is we are powerless over our alcohol or our addictions, and our life has become unmanageable. Okay, so let me reframe that into the reality of our world today. I am powerless over what's happening right now in our world, no matter where in our world it is. I, in and of myself, today can't change anything. So we really are powerless over some things in our life. But am I really powerless over my addiction? What does that mean? Well, I want to go through a few things here to show you what that means. First off, there's no shame in weakness. There is no shame. We are all struggling with being strong in the Lord and doing the kinds of things that we know He wants us to do. We know He wants us to be kind and loving and not drinking, not drunk. We know that He wants us to take care of our bodies. He wants us to live the fruits of the Spirit. But how do we do that? We get angry and upset and irritable. But the good news is that He says, my grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect in your weakness. Therefore, I will boast. This is what Paul said. I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses so that Christ's power may rest on me. That's 1 Corinthians 12, 9, and 10. So Paul got it. He figured it out. And Paul went through a whole bunch of stuff. He was blind at one point, and he came to see. Why? Because he decided God had to kind of knock him down and say, no, you can't do this on your own. Paul had, who was Saul prior, he was not a good guy. And God changed him. God changed him. He didn't change himself. God changed him. And that's the key, is that God will. Here's the rest of that verse, those verses. This is, again, 1 Corinthians 12, 9 to 10. Therefore, Paul said, I will boast all the more gladly about my weakness so that Christ's power may rest on me. And that is why, for Christ's sake, I delight in weakness, in insults, in hardships, in persecution, in difficulties. Oh, come on now, really? Come on, Paul. Did you really rejoice in all those things and be glad? Oh, in difficulties, for when I am weak, then I am strong. And until we come to that humility, that being humble, a lot of people have a problem with this. I am powerless over alcohol or whatever. I work with women who are older women And some of them are really stuck because they have spent their whole lives drinking and thinking, oh, I can have a drink. I can quit when I want to. Yeah, good luck with that. You've been drinking your whole life, no matter whether you're a woman or not. You've been drinking your whole life. Every day after work, you come home for wine o'clock and you have a few drinks. That's what you've done your whole life. And you enjoyed it. Now try and quit. You've tried quitting chocolate, folks. Come on. Have you tried eating healthy? You tried giving up those things? You tried not being on social media so much, and yet you find yourself scrolling and scrolling and scrolling? Are you in control? Or are you kind of powerless because it seems like I didn't even think about it all of a sudden, and the next thing I know, I was doing it? Or I just gave in to temptation. There you have it. Why did you give in? Because you don't have the strength, but God does, and his grace is sufficient. So delight in the weakness, in the insults, in the hardships, in the persecution, and the difficulties. For when you're weak, then you can become strong. And this is the joy of the Lord to me, that he gives us that. Okay, no fruit without a branch. Think about that. We are to have the fruits of the Spirit, right? And the fruits of the Spirit are peace, kindness, joy, long suffering, all those good things. Self-discipline, discipline, self-control, that's what it's called. We are to have all those fruits of the Spirit. How do we do that? Here's how we do it. I am the vine, he said. You are the branches. If you remain in me and I remain in you, you will bear much fruit. But apart from me, you can do nothing. So if you're trying to change yourself without the vine that can change you, that's why I called my first organization Faucet of Hope. The faucet of hope it's not me as the faucet that saves anybody. The faucet is not going to fix nothing unless the water is flowing through it. I can't change your life unless you lay hold of the living water of Jesus flowing through me to you, and you accept that water. You're still not going to get well. If he gives you the drink and you don't take it, you're still going to die of thirst. So I'm the vine, you're the branches. If you remain in me, I had somebody once give me this example. This is me struggling. This is Jesus. I have to be here so I'll be covered by his grace and love. So remain in him, remain in his love, and you'll bear much fruit. Because apart from him, you can do nothing. Third thing, when we feel like giving up, God he will restore us. He will. So don't give up. Don't feel helpless, powerless, like there's no hope. But here, let me just throw something in. This does not mean that we're going to get what we want, that we're going to get the job we want, that we're going to get the spouse we want, that our spouse is going to change, that we're going to get the president we want, or the leader, or whatever. This is not what that means. Is when we feel like giving up, God will restore us. It doesn't mean he's going to give us what we want. What it means is he gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. So when we're weak, he will give us strength. And even the youth grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord, what? Will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like angels. They will run and not grow weary, and they will walk and not be faint. Think of that. How many wills are there? That's a promise to us. Now, does that mean that we physically are going to get up out of a wheelchair and run? It's not talking about physical stuff. It's talking about spiritual stuff. And if we are trying to quit a bad habit, we have to let the Spirit of God into us to flow through us so that we can do what He's called us to do. That's the key. And that is what is so awesome. And here's the next thing. God is bigger and stronger than our troubles. He can do this. God is our refuge and strength and ever-present help in times of trouble. I am trusting that those 4 verses and those 4 concepts are going to, or challenges, are going to help you to finally turn things over to Him and let Him help you overcome your addiction, overcome your anger, your frustrations, your fear. That's really, the fear is really probably the foundation of most of our problems because we're afraid of our feelings. We don't want to feel anxious. And if I can't have a drink, I'm going to be anxious. I'm going to be uncomfortable and I don't want to be anxious. It helps me to feel better. It helps me to communicate better with people. It's fear. Let go of your fear and let God be your refuge and your strength. He is an ever-present help in times of trouble. And every time we are facing one of these challenges in life to be what He wants us to be, we have to remember these things. He is there. He always will be there. And all we need to do is ask Him to speak to me, God. I'm listening. So if you haven't been listening to God, because He's got a solution to your problem. I don't care what it is. I don't care how bad it is. I don't care if you don't have food for the children. I don't care if you don't have a job or money. I don't care if you're facing jail. I don't care if you don't have money for whatever. We all have fear, but God has an answer. And we don't know where it's going to come from. Like, I don't know which verse, which thing He's going to pick out of my book that I do this every week, but I'm just going to stop somewhere. And God has never failed ever since I started reading this. And I've been doing these messages for 3 years. It might even be 4, but 3 years for sure that I've been doing these messages every Saturday morning on Facebook. And I've done this, and every single time He has given me a verse that is relative to what we're talking. So January 26th, this happened to be where I flipped to. This was step 2 in the 12-step program, which comes right after being powerless. So step 1 is being powerless. I think people need to go very quickly from step 1 to step 3. Step 2 is came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Boy, that's pretty relevant. My challenge was we don't reach our goals because we don't feel like working that hard. It's all about me and what I want to do at the moment. It's not about what I know I should be doing because it's what's best for me. It's about feeling good. That's what I want. We want everything in our lives to be a beautiful garden, but instead there are weeds. The only way out of the insanity is to believe that God, the power greater than ourselves, can get us through the moment when we need Him most. Are we ready to quit demanding our own way and reach out to God to give us the beautiful garden of life? Luke 12 says, look at the lilies, how they grow. They don't work or make their clothing. Yet Solomon in all his glory was not dressed as beautifully as they are. And if God cares so wonderfully for flowers that are here today and thrown into the fire tomorrow, He will certainly care for you. Why do you have such little faith in our weaknesses? I just added that last word. God, help me. I'm so off track again. Need the drive to keep going. I need your power to overcome the enemies that threaten my recovery and end goals. Give me the willingness to let you help me. And then I prayed, speak to me, God. And he said, my child, each day is a new day. The sun rises either in splendor or behind a mask of clouds. And like the world around you, some days will bring challenges that will cause you to need to rely on me even more. Look outside and see how everything lives and breathes and grows and flies and swims without anyone else's assistance but mine. If you entirely rely on me, you too will flourish and come to fruition. There's that fruit. You have already been planted, and now let me give you all you need to become the beautiful flower I have created you to be. One of beauty like no other, created with care and love. Enjoy the journey. You are safe with me. May God bless you all. Let me pray for you this morning. Father, I thank you that you are here, that you are willing to help those who are listening, that you will give them the encouragement and the strength to turn to you and let you help them be all that you want them to be. I'm so grateful that you're here today. If you enjoyed this book, it's called Speak to Me, God. I'm listening 365 daily meditations for those who want to hear God answer life's toughest questions. You can find that on Amazon. If you want 30 days of it sent to your email, go to Speak to Me, God, I'm listening on Facebook and join our private group so we can encourage each other every single day. And please, if you wouldn't mind to like, comment, subscribe, and click the notification thing if you're on, if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're not, please go to YouTube, because this is a way that they send it then to other people. And all you need to do is go to my YouTube channel, which is Linda Larson Schlitz, the Silver Sober Sisters, and it's Linda's Life Recovery Lessons on YouTube. And I would love to have you come back again next week. And I really love it if you would share this with others so they too can come to know how to let go of feeling like you're so out of control and stressed out and depressed. You can do this. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you.